Hey guys, welcome back to AMC 10B 2022. This is problem number 17, which uses the ideas of what's called modular arithmetic. So if you're not very familiar with the concept of modular arithmetic and some of the properties involved, it might be something you might want to review just a little bit because I'm going to kind of assume that you already have a knowledge of the idea. Um, so the question is, one of the following numbers is not divisible by any prime number less than 10. Which is it? So think about what are the primes less than 10? 2, 3, 5, 7, right? First thing you'll notice is that none of these numbers is divisible by 2. They're all odd because in each case, because you have an even minus an odd, an even plus an odd, even plus odd, even plus odd, and then even plus odd, right? So they're all going to be odd numbers. So we only have to check 3, 5, 7, right? So obviously I would have to check each of the numbers. Since I already know that C is the answer, I'll just show why C is the answer. So starting by looking at mod 3, right, we can look at 2 to the power 607 minus 1 would be congruent to 2 times 2 to the power 606 minus 1, which would be congruent to 2 times 4 to the power 303 minus 1, right? Because, 2 squared to the 303, 4 to the 303, right? But since 4 is congruent to 1 mod 3, we can write that as 2 times 1 to the 303 minus 1, which basically just becomes 2 minus 1 or 1 mod 3. So therefore, the number is not divisible by 3. It's 1 more than a multiple of 3. Looking mod 5, we can do 2 to the 607 minus 1 is congruent to 2 times 2 to the 206 minus 1. So it kind of goes the same way. 2 times 4 2 times 4 to the 303 minus 1, or is negative 1 mod 5. So 2 times negative 1 to the 303 minus 1, which would be 2 times negative 1 minus 1, or negative 3, which is congruent to 2 mod 5. So this number is not divisible by 5. It is 2 mod 5. And then for mod 7, 2 to the 607 minus 1 is 2 times 2 to the 606 minus 1, or remember, we can write that as 2 to the power 3 times 202, or 8 to the power 202. So congruent to 2 times 8 to the power 202 minus 1. 8 is 1 mod 7, so we can say that's 2 times 1 to the 202 minus 1, or 2 minus 1, or 1 mod 7. Therefore, it is not divisible by 7, right? It's not 0 mod 3, 5, or 7. So therefore, it's divisible by none of those numbers. So therefore, C would have to be our answer. And obviously, I had to check A and B first to determine before I eventually got to C and realized that it worked. So it's sort of a checking all the answer choices type of a question. So, right. But again, if you have some trouble with understanding what mod is, it's basically you're looking at sort of the remainder when you divide by a number. And there's a lot of cool tricks you can do when you're working with modular arithmetic. Like for example, like knowing that 4 is 1 mod 3, you can basically just replace 4 with 1. And it just makes your arithmetic so much easier, which is why it's a lot of fun to work in mod sometimes. All right. Hope this helped. Hope I didn't go too fast. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. All right. Look forward to doing number 18. See you there.